A brief history of the United States. The history of the United States is a story of exploration, revolution, expansion, and change. It begins with the indigenous peoples who lived on the continent for thousands of years before European colonization. Colonial America, 1492 to 1776. In 1492, Christopher Columbus's voyage initiated European exploration of the Americas. The Spanish, French, and British established colonies, but the British became the dominant power along the eastern coast. The first permanent English settlement was Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. The Pilgrims arrived in 1620 seeking religious freedom and settled in Plymouth, Massachusetts. The 13 British colonies developed unique economies and cultures, but were united by growing dissatisfaction with British rule. The American Revolution, 1775 to 1783. Tensions between the colonies and Britain escalated due to taxation without representation. The Boston Tea Party, 1773, and other protests led to war in 1775. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence, written primarily by Thomas Jefferson, formally separated the colonies from Britain. The war ended in 1783 with the Treaty of Paris, granting the U.S. independence. Building a nation, 1783 to 1860, the U.S. Constitution was adopted in 1787, replacing the weaker Articles of Confederation and creating a stronger federal government. George Washington became the first president in 1789. The early 1800s saw territorial expansion, including the Louisiana Purchase, 1803, which doubled the nation's size. Conflicts with Britain led to the War of 1812, solidifying U.S. independence. Civil War and Reconstruction, 1861 to 1877. Slavery divided the nation. The election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860 led Southern states to secede, forming the Confederacy. The Civil War, 1861 to 1865, was the bloodiest conflict in U.S. history. The Union, North, defeated the Confederacy, South, and slavery was abolished through the 13th Amendment. Reconstruction attempted to rebuild the South and integrate freed slaves, but racial tensions persisted. Industrialization and World Wars, 1877 to 1945. The late 19th century saw rapid industrial growth, urbanization, and immigration. The U.S. became a world power after victory in the Spanish-American War, 1898. The country played a key role in World War I, 1917 to 1918, and emerged as a global leader. The Great Depression, 1929 to 1939, devastated the economy, but Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal provided relief. The U.S. entered World War II after Pearl Harbor, 1941, and helped defeat Nazi Germany and Japan by 1945. The Cold War and Civil Rights, 1945 to 1991. The post-war era was defined by the Cold War, a struggle between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. The U.S. fought in Korea, 1950 to 1953, and Vietnam, 1955 to 1975, to stop communism. Meanwhile, the civil rights movement led by Martin Luther King Jr. and others ended segregation and expanded rights for African Americans. Modern America, 1991 to present. With the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, the U.S. became the world superpower. The 9/11 attacks, 2001, led to wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Technology and globalization shaped the 21st century, while political and social movements continue to shape the nation's future. The U.S. remains a diverse, powerful nation, constantly evolving in pursuit of its founding ideals: liberty, democracy, and equality.